What's good? What's going on? The biggest nerd one coming to you live and in living color from the great state of Missouri, more specifically, the great city of St. Joseph, Missouri. And if you want to get a little bit more specific than that, let's see if I can flip the camera around on my phone. Oh, look at that. Look at this. We are here in St. Joseph, Missouri, here at the Pony Express Museum. Oh, man. It's a cold, windy day here in St. Joseph, so let's go inside here, get all warmed up, and see what the Pony Express Museum is all about. After watching a little bit of about a 20-minute video about the history of the Pony Express, we are moving on into the little museum part. The first stop here is the wheelwright shop, which is pretty much the same thing as the blacksmith shop, but for wood. It seems like. You got all your wood instruments there. Then we move on into the blacksmith shop here, and we got a little guy working on a little horse here, probably putting on his little shoes, maybe. Okay, we got a little statue of a guy here on pony delivering mail, and right here is the little satchel here that they pretty much put all the letters in when they, went across the states. Well, the Pony Express really didn't last too long, guys. From the video, lasted like from the early 1950s, and it ended in the early 60s, 1860s. So not too terribly long for the Pony Express, because the telegram service pretty much took it over. A long story short. But hey, it left its mark on American history, guys. So the old Pony Express, it worked for its time, because the only other option was to send your mail through the ship, which you had to, the ships went down below South America and came back up, which took a whole lot longer than the ponies. And here they also got a bunch of horses in their little stables here. Look at that. We got a tack room and a harness shop in here. That's what it would look like back in the day, maybe. These are the risk takers. I'm assuming these are probably going to be the guys that, pretty much started the whole kit and caboodle here. These were pretty much the starters. Old William Russell, Alex Majors, William Waddle. You got a bunch of little wax figures in here. They got a big old buffalo in here. This is Zone 2. And here they got this big old wagon with some cows here. Let's go up on here and see what's inside the little wagon here. Some supplies the pioneers packed in a covered wagon. We got things like, medicine, chairs, and some clothes, and all some kitchen supplies. You pretty much had to live out of your little wagon. And so back then it probably was a little rough. I don't know how much of how far a toaster could get you out in the wilderness, but hey. Okay, guys, they do have a bit of a little display here that pretty much starts with on the trail back here at the Missouri River, which I'm assuming is about where St. Joseph started, because we're right here, like on the Missouri River, on the border of Kansas here, and it pretty much goes from little terrain to terrain here, explaining what different parts of going across America was like for the pioneers. This is across the Kansas territory right there. We're going across the plains. You know, look at that. This is going through. Oh man, we are just moving along here. The Continental Divide at the South Pass. You know, crossing the Salt Lake deserts, going into the Utah, which they did talk about the Utah War in that video. And then moving across the whole snowy Sierra, going out west, and then going into going to California.
Would you like some tea, sir? Yes. Okay. No. Whoops. Okay. Would you like some bread? Would you like some bread? Yes. There you go, sir. Very tasty.
I'm not too sure what Buffalo Bill has to do with the, with the Pony Express. I'm sure somewhere in here it tells you all about it. But yeah, they got a Buffalo Bill exhibit here at the Pony Express Museum.
Okay, I don't want to see your tattoo now.
Hey, Bob, we gotta make it to town. We gotta deliver this mail and all that stuff. Let's find places. Let's go.
Looks like we got a little water pump here.
Yes, we're pumping some water. As you can tell, here,
And looks like they got a well.
it goes all the way down there. Yeah.
Look at that. It looks like it's like an actual well. Move your head. They got an actual well here.
And
Yeah.
if you come over here, this is, yeah, see, when we create
Oh, you actually pump it into the thing
it
here.
goes into there.
That's pretty neat.
Yes, it goes into there. And then the water goes into there, and then it comes all the way down there.
Okay, they do have this cool little map in here, guys, where it looks like the endpoint was Sacramento, California, and it kind of lists all the major towns across the trail that they use here on the Pony Express. And we go all the way over here to St. Joseph, Missouri.
Look at my tattoo.
This was an actual envelope, looks like that was carried by the Pony Express in July of 1860. Yeah, it tells about all the postage there. Yeah, this also tells about how the telegraph started to happen, and the line was completed, and which pretty much almost took over the whole Pony Express, because the telegraph was a whole lot quicker than the Pony Express. Okay, there's a okay, guys, there's a site here. Looks like a bunch of archaeologists dug up, and they found several artifacts down here, as you guys can see, from dating back, looks like from the 1858. So this site must be some sort of some significance to the Pony Express, I'm assuming, with this foundation must have been to some sort of a building that was back then for the Pony Express. I'm assuming. It really doesn't say what this foundation was for on here, but several items were found, like horseshoes, bottles, and stuff like that. So it's probably a good assumption that this foundation was for something important for the Express around this time. Okay, looks like we're moving into the Hall of Writers. Looks like they got a little children's play area for all the little niños. Niños.
What here, would you like some tea?
They got books in there. Looks like they got little play dolls, little bricks.
Daddy, come here.
They can. And I got some like fake food in there, and you can do there's a little dinner plate set in there.
Would you like
You can dress up. You know, you can come out here and draw some horses and stuff if you wanted to.
Yeah, look, I have. Yeah, look, I have.
Look at that.
I have some.
There you go.
Would you like some?
They even have on display over here some old coins from way back when. You know, some of the old notes. It's pretty neat. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Actually, no, I like some tea. This feels good. I'm having some tea.
See, like I never knew that we had like a $2.50 coin, a $3 coin, $5, $10, $20 coin. Who knew, mamas? I'm assuming back then, you know, like the sphere like coin collectors probably know about it, but it's pretty neat. Okay, guys, and remember, press your pennies while you can. And right across the street, guys, looks like we got a little bit of a train, thing that you probably can climb on. I'm not too sure. They got a little playground for kids in this little park across the street. But you know what? On that note, thank you for allowing us to use the EM rule here on the Biggest Nerd Ones channel, where you see a museum and you go to it. But thank you for joining us. Goodbye.